MotoGP has always been full of drama, but the 2025 Qatar Grand Prix reminded fans once again, expect the unexpected. For 8-time world champion Marc Marquez, taking victories may feel like a familiar rhythm by now, but even a rider of his caliber was caught off guard under the lights of Losail. Coming into the weekend, the spotlight was on Francesco Bagnaia. Fresh off a strong win in Austin and returning to a track he dominated in 2024, the momentum seemed to be in his favor. Meanwhile, Marquez hadn't tasted victory in Qatar since 2014, making him somewhat of a dark horse by the numbers. But as Sunday night rolled in and the engines roared to life, Marquez flipped the script. He carved his way to a third win of the season with a clinical performance that showcased not just speed, but smart tire management and nerves of steel. Yet even in the middle of that triumph, there was one moment that completely caught him off guard: the sudden rise of Maverick Viñales. During the heat of battle, as Marquez fought to keep his lead, a rider suddenly zipped past him. For a split second, Marquez thought it was Pedro Acosta, KTM's usual golden boy. That would have made sense. Acosta has consistently been KTM's frontrunner, and from a distance, the orange blur looked all too familiar. But it wasn't Acosta. It was Maverick Viñales. Man, that was a big surprise when Maverick passed me. I honestly thought it was Acosta, Marquez admitted after the race, with a grin that showed both amusement and admiration. Normally he's the fastest KTM out there, but when I realized it was Maverick, wow, he was flying. Viñales, riding for Tech 3 KTM, turned heads with his blistering pace. He led for 5 laps during the heart of the race and crossed the finish line in second place, only to be bumped down to 14th after receiving a 16-second penalty for violating front tire pressure regulations. Even so, his performance left a lasting impression, proving that he still has the grit and speed to shake things up. Marquez didn't just win with speed, he won with smarts. Knowing full well how demanding Qatar's track can be on front tires, he approached the first half of the race with calculated calm. I knew from before the race that controlling the front tire would be key, he shared in his post-race TV interview. So, in the beginning, I just played it cool. Morbidelli took the lead, but I figured from his pace yesterday that he wouldn't be able to maintain it later on. But things shifted quickly when Bagnaia made his move and passed Marquez on lap 5. That moment lit a fire in the veteran. When Pecco passed me, I thought, all right, game on. That's when I started to push, he said. From there, it became a textbook Marquez charge. He reclaimed second place from Bagnaia by lap 7 and then pulled away with lap times in the low 152s, nearly a full second faster than Bagnaia in the closing laps. Viñales was the only one able to match that pace, holding firm in the 152s until the penultimate lap. Despite claiming his third win of the season, Marquez was humble and grounded in his reflections. I had a bit of a cushion in those final laps, maybe 2 or 3 tenths, but still Maverick's speed was impressive. He made me stay sharp all the way to the end. More than just another victory, this race served as a reminder to Marquez and the rest of the grid that nothing is set in stone this season. New faces are rising, old rivals are getting faster, and every race feels more unpredictable than the last. This was a big one, Marquez admitted, but the season's long and you can't let your guard down. We've got to keep pushing. Qatar gave fans everything they love about MotoGP tight racing, unexpected twists, and a few head-scratching penalties. Marquez walked away with another win, but it was Viñales, despite his penalty, who sparked a wave of conversation in the paddock. As the circus moves on to the next stop, the message is clear. Maverick is back in the mix, Marc is still the king, but the crown isn't safe, not by a long shot. This season is just heating up, and if Qatar is any indication, we're in for one wild ride. In the high-octane world of MotoGP, the thrill of victory can vanish in the blink of an eye. Speed, strategy, sweat, they all count, but so do the rules. And sometimes it's not the rivals on track, but the fine print in the rulebook that writes your story. That's exactly what happened on a dramatic night at the Lusail International Circuit, where Maverick Viñales and the Tech 3 KTM Gas team lived through a roller coaster of emotions, from celebration to crushing disappointment, all within a few short hours. Starting from 6th on the grid, Viñales rode like a man possessed. Calm, precise, ruthless when it counted. Lap after lap, he carved through the field, leaving the likes of Marc Marquez and Pecco Bagnaia behind. For a few shining laps, Maverick led the race, slicing through the Qatari night in clean, cool air, with the RC16 responding to every move like it was reading his mind. When he crossed the finish line in second place, the Tech 3 garage erupted. Smiles, hugs, relief. This wasn't just any podium, this was a statement. A breakthrough, Viñales' first top 3 finish with KTM, and a rare feat. A podium with 4 different manufacturers in the MotoGP era. Suzuki, Yamaha, Aprilia, and now KTM. It was a night that felt historic, but the celebration was short-lived. Hours later, a quiet but devastating announcement arrived from FIM race stewards. Viñales' front tire pressure was too low, dipping below the minimum limit for more than 60% of the race. The result? A 16-second time penalty. Enough to drop him from second all the way down to 14th place. No trophy, no champagne, just silence and disbelief. "We're leaving Qatar with a very bitter taste in our mouths," said Nicolas Goyon, Tech 3 KTM's team manager. "Maverick had an incredible weekend, his best performance so far with our team. To lose it like this, it hurts." According to Goyon, the team hadn't planned for Maverick to lead the race in clean air for that long. Normally, pressure builds when a rider's stuck in the pack, tucked into slipstreams, fighting for space. But Viñales' brilliance became his undoing. Riding solo out front, the tire temperature stayed low, and so did the pressure. "It's a rule that sometimes feels unfair," Goyon admitted. "There was no advantage gained. But rules are rules, and we'll respect that. Still, it doesn't take away from the performance. That was something special." In modern MotoGP, the margins are, well, razor thin. Tire pressure is no longer just a detail, it's a science. It's monitored in real time, measured down to the decimals. And yet, for all that precision, the rule can feel kind of blunt. Conditions change all the time. Air temperature, race position, even the wind. Any of those can throw off the balance. And in Maverick's case, honestly, he was just too good for his own good. He led more than we expected, and that affected the pressure, Goyon explained. But we saw what he's capable of, and that's what matters. While the garage wrestled with disappointment, Viñales stayed calm, collected, and honestly pretty proud. "The bike was amazing. Everything felt perfect," he said, still smiling. "I was in the zone. I can't wait to ride it again." For Viñales, the night was still a win in spirit. It confirmed what a lot of folks had suspected. He's back, more confident, more in tune with his machine, and, well, more dangerous than ever. Aki Aho, Red Bull KTM's factory racing manager, was quick to back his rider and his satellite squad. "That podium potential from Maverick means a lot to the whole KTM family," Aho said. "It shows we're on the right path, and we're only going to push harder from here." And for Tech 3 KTM, a team that's always punched above its weight, this wasn't the end of the story, far from it. They might have lost the points, but they gained something even more powerful: belief. They've got a rider who's hungry, experienced, and absolutely fired up. A bike that's finally finding its rhythm. And a team that now knows what it takes to run with the big boys. The next stop? Austin, Texas, the Circuit of the Americas. And you can bet all eyes will be on Maverick Viñales and the red-hot RC16. They were robbed of their celebration. But honestly, they've already proven something bigger. They're not just here to compete, they're here to contend.